We're really heartened by what we're seeing happen across the country today amongst the small business community. They feel really energized by what's taking place. In fact, we're seeing it in the job numbers. We have had 63 months of consecutive job growth. That's a record in American history. And 2/3 of that job growth is coming from the small business community. Small businesses are challenged sometimes. They're challenged in many different ways. Sometimes it's they don't even know how to start their business, or they got themselves in trouble and they're trying to calculate how to repair their business. And some are doing really well and they want to know how to scale. So fortunately, the SBA has a really interesting, probably the largest network in the world for counseling services through our resource partners. We have different programs that come in the name of SCORE or the Small Business Development Centers, and we have veteran and women business centers, and of course we have the 68 field offices, but all of them stand ready to provide counseling. So what we're working on now is to take the walls down of SBA. Instead of waiting in federal buildings for those businesses to come to us, we're now wanting to put more technology in the laps of our counselors and having them go to these places so that we can engage small businesses. So we're very heartened by what we're seeing, but they want confidence in the future. That's what they're concerned about. So we really do hope that we're able to deliver confidence by making sure that Congress also does its job in passing a budget, passing an infrastructure program, and passing trade so that we can continue the work that we're doing today. Small businesses of yesterday thought about themselves, say, for example, a florist shop, and how they compete against the florist shop on the other side of town. But now what we find is that we're being infiltrated, that we're getting businesses that are coming in from around the world. And so one is we have to be proactive to make sure that we're the ones that are heading out and making sure that we're filling demand. The other is that the global population is changing. And so today, 95% of the world's consumers are outside of the U.S. So if we don't get in the game, somebody else is going to address that consumer, that marketplace, and become the leader of the world. We need to make sure that we're there first and best. And so in that regard, the SBA and I personally am very engaged in helping to pass what we call the TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership. It's the first trade agreement ever that has an SME chapter. And this chapter helps address the small, medium enterprise needs of the small business community. So we think that the attributes of this will empower small businesses, maybe even more so than the large. But at the end of the day, I don't think the conversation should be large or small, because there's so many small businesses that benefit from the corporate supply chain as well. And so I think all in all, these trade agreements really do inure positively, powerfully to the small business community. The small business community concerns itself with, one, their logistics, making sure that their inventory comes in on time, and when they finish their product, that their finished product gets out around the world. And so it is important to be able to make sure that our ports are properly developed so that we have ports that move swiftly. And then just for their employees to move around, they want their local roads and freeways and highways to be able to get them to work on time so that they can be productive. No one wants to be sitting on what we call a rush hour, but it's anything but a rush. And so we all want to make sure that our people, our employees, are being productive and effective. The other aspect to infrastructure investment and making sure that we pass these initiatives in Congress is it also provides ample opportunity for small businesses to be a part of those contracting opportunities. It creates an enormous number of jobs amongst the small business community. I'm delighted to be here participating today in the Small Business Summit because, number one, small business voices need to be heard. They're creating 2/3 of the jobs being created today. They're driving the economy. So the Small Business Summit allows us to bring all the small businesses from varied interests, varied geographies. That's the role that the Small Business Summit can play, as a convener and also to disseminate information that's important and pertinent to small businesses today, and then help them be prepared to amplify their voice here in Washington and when they go back home into their own communities. Small businesses, they don't always have a way to connect with other small businesses. And so when you have the convening power that the U.S. Chamber of Commerce has to convene businesses from around the country and then share with them, impart with them the information that's so vital so that they can go in with an informed voice and that they can hear from each other about what it is that are their common interests, and then amplify their voice after they're gone. I say that the chambers across the country, and particularly the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, plays a very important role in the convening power, the amplifying power, and then just to make sure that people are well prepared and informed to be able to know what the protocol is, how to engage, which members are more apt to listen to our story. And it's important for small businesses to check in with their chambers in their local communities, and then to come here and join us in Washington, D.C. to make sure that they are being heard.